Good morning, Dr. Leslie Griffin. How
Good
are
morning.
you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am fabulous. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me at the Beauty Locker. Most
Absolutely.
people who will watch this video don't know who you are. I know that you have founded Marriage Champs, an organization that ministers to married couples, and you've also worked in the local church and outside of the local church. So, can you tell us what made you or what inspired you to birth this organization, the Marriage Champs?
Sure. So, Marriage Champs was really birthed out of a desire to improve my own marriage. So, back in 2012, my husband and I had been married probably 9 or 10 years, and things were not going so well. My husband was unhappy, and I was disturbed that he was not happy. And so I was trying to figure out a way to really connect with him and to speak his language, just to try to improve things between the two of us. I was also counseling at the same time. I've been counseling for several years. I was working at the church and just serving couples. And I just kept seeing after couple just kind of struggling through, limping through marriage, and it was just weighing heavy on me. So, my husband's an athlete or a former athlete, and one Sunday we were watching football, and he used to play fantasy football, and I he was really excited one Sunday, had the computer up, he was on the phone talking trash to his friends and just laughing and having a good time. And I was thinking to myself, wow, if we could just take 1 ounce of that passion and energy and dump it into our marriage, we would just be doing amazing. So I asked him, I said, hey, listen, you get so excited about sports and you know how to work really well on teams with other people. What is it about me or us or our marriage that, makes it a challenge? And he said, it's just different. And I said, no, it's not different. It's the same concept, same idea, same, team kind of mentality. And he said, no, it's just different. And I said, no, it's not. And I'm going to show you. So that kind of birthed the idea for Marriage Champs. It's kind of a team themed way for couples to kind of grow their marriage, strengthen their marriage, or even to restore their marriage. So I started using some of the analogies and techniques with the couples I was serving at the church and outside of the church, and it started to work. So I just kind of stuck with it. So that, and it did improve my own marriage. So right now, I'm happy to say that God really used that time and those struggles to not only just restore our marriage, but birth this. It's really ministry for me. It is a business, but it really is ministry for me to birth this company and to allow me to not only be able to improve my own marriage, but to help other couples improve their marriage as well.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I too know how sports can bring people together. So I find it very um amazing or very interesting that you was able to make the parallel those two dynamics, and it's helping people, so praise God for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, as you know and everyone else knows, we are facing one of the biggest health crises that America has seen, or at least in our lifetime. I know my lifetime for certain, that I can remember, with COVID-19.
Yeah.
And with COVID-19, it's placed us in a precarious situation in our homes.
Mhm.
Married couples are noticing things. They're realizing things that may have been suppressed or just have gone unacknowledged because everyone's been so busy and moving. But
Right.
COVID is like, hey, sit here. Let's get to know one another all over again. So,
Yeah.
in your opinion, what is the biggest challenge that you see married couples facing today as a result of staying at home?
Mhm.
And what have you advised couples to do to restore their marriages, reconcile their marriages, or strengthen their marriages in these challenging times?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that people are starting to realize things that were probably already present that they just kind of ignored, because when you are able to leave the house and go to work for 8 hours a day, your kids go to school or whatever the case may be, you can kind of ignore some of the things, the challenges that you are experiencing as a couple. But because of the coronavirus, people have had to stay at home, shelter in, and you can no longer ignore the things that are apparent that are going on in your marriage. So I think it has given couples an opportunity, a unique opportunity to really address the underlying issues that are causing them not to experience the kind of marriage that they desire. And you can't run from it. You can't leave. You have to address it. And sometimes people address it and sometimes people don't. I have heard that there's kind of differing research that divorce rates have been on an increase since the pandemic. And then I've heard other reports that say, no, people are really trying to work through some of the things that are sort of long overdue. And that's encouraging for me because I think that it allows couples an opportunity to get the help they need. You asked, what do I suggest that couples do? The number one thing, particularly for couples of faith, aside from relying on their faith and the principles that their faith teaches about marriage and about love, but to get help. It's no reason to be miserable in a relationship or to sort of suffer and limp along when there are people to help you. So there are hundreds of thousands of counselors and coaches and programs and books and all kinds of things that can help you. You don't have to sit and suffer. You don't, it's a choice. If you want things to be different in your marriage, if you want your marriage to be better, do something about it. Change it. So I encourage people to change whatever they don't like, change it. You cannot change other people, but you can make changes within yourself and you can do things differently that are going to improve the situation that you are in. You can grow and you can learn and you can be different, and your marriage as a result will be different as a result of you being different. So
Wow. Get help. That's a good segue, I think, to one of the other questions that I had. That's a great segue to another question that I have for you, Dr. Griffin. I've heard varying opinions about married people's business staying inside of their home. And I understand that concept, especially in our community, but probably in other cultures and communities as well. Do you believe that it is important for married couples to have mentors?
Yeah, so absolutely. I think it's important for couples to have a community, period. If you can have more than one couple that you can kind of lean on and do life with, that's awesome. But you definitely need one couple that that you can do life with, if you will. So because you are able to glean from other couples, and you're able also to help another couple. We all have challenges in our marriages. We all have things that we need help just to kind of get through. And we need people that support and help encourage us to stay the course. And we don't always have to experience things for ourselves. We can learn from other people. And on the flip side of that, you have to be really wise about who those people are. You should not share everything that's going on in your marriage with the world. That's not okay. There are things that, for example, family members, they mean well, but when you share things with your family members, your mom, your sister, your brother, your grandmother, when you tell people things about your spouse or about your marriage, while they mean well, they care deeply about you. They don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to see you suffer. And so they may tell you things that are not wise. They don't mean to be harmful to your marriage, but because they care so deeply about you and they don't want to see you hurt and they don't want to see you suffer, they may advise you to do things that, number one, is not biblically sound, And number two, that is going to be more detrimental than it is going to be helpful to your marriage. So you have to and then once you have forgiven your mate or you have moved on and you're no longer mad, sometimes they're still mad.
Right.
They just hold on to it, and now they have a different perspective of your mate or your marriage, and they have all these opinions about what you should and should not do. And ultimately, if that's who the Lord called you to, and you guys are one, and then there are things that you're going to have to go through, and that you're going to have to suffer through and fight through, and work together to get through it. And other people may not understand that, and it's not really for them to understand. So you just have to be mindful of who you share things with, and if they are not wise people, if they are always advising you to leave your marriage or to do something other than what the Lord would have you to do, then you want to avoid talking to those kind of people. So I guess the answer is kind of twofold. You want to have, if you can, if it's not necessarily a mentor couple, maybe an older couple. I don't mean older necessarily in age, but a couple that maybe has been married for a little while, that has been through some stuff, that can encourage you and say, hey, listen, we have been through stuff too, and you just got to figure it out.
Right.
You have to figure it out, and here's some things that we did, here's some things you might try. It may or may not work for you, but we want to encourage you to stay the course, because ultimately it's worth it. It's worth it. So yes, you need people that can cheer you on and say, come on, you can do it. But you also have to be wise about who those people are and what you share with them. So.
Absolutely. We should always be prepared with the full armor of God. As we know that, we've heard it. Our pastors have taught it. We've heard it in different Bible studies that you can obtain from any number of Bible stores, or not, Amazon, wherever the case may be that you find your resources. What or how do we fight the enemy in a collective manner? I know Ephesians 6 talk to us about this, but from your experience, some other tools and resources that you may have equipped your clients with, or those that you've ministered to, in a collective manner, as we attempt to stay married and, fight this fight against what the society has made not so trendy anymore. How do we stay equipped? How do we fight the enemy in this race, in this journey, outside of Ephesians 6?
Yeah. So in Marriage Champs, we kind of focus on 5 sort of core areas or pillars, if you will. One is spiritual growth. The second is passion. Then we have intimacy, teamwork, and commitment. And I think that's kind of our framework for understanding marriages that thrive and those that don't survive. So if you can focus your time, energy, and attention on those 5 areas, how are we growing spiritually? Where are we at with regard to passion, the passion in our marriage? Where are we at in terms of intimacy, communication, not just the physical intimacy, which is important, but emotional. How are we working together as a team? How well are we doing on that? And how committed are we to this? So do we have goals? Do we have a vision? Do we know what it is that we're working to achieve? You'd be surprised the number of couples who don't have goals. They just live every day. They just wake up, go to work, come home, cook, eat, go to bed, and do it all over. There's no real purpose. No intentionality about what it is that they're doing. And for us at Marriage Champs, we try to teach couples just the concept and the idea that either, every single day you're either growing together or you're drifting apart. And so you want to make decisions every single day that cause you guys to grow together as opposed to drifting. People sometimes say, when they're headed for divorce, they're like, oh, we just fell out of love, or, it's just, there's no, either you love a person or you don't love a person. There's no in and out. And I think what will mean when they say things like that is that, there really is just no passion there. Okay. How do we, reinvigorate? How do we re-implement or reintroduce the passion that was once in your relationship that is no longer there? So if couples can really focus on those 5 areas, you definitely need to be growing spiritually, because if you are not, it is difficult to do the things that we are required to do in marriage, like forgive your mate.
Right.
There are things that they're going to do because they're a fallible human being. They're not perfect, and they're going to hurt your feelings. Maybe not intentionally, but they're going to do things
Mm-hmm.
for a number of reasons that are going to be hurtful to you. And if you are not willing to forgive, or you don't know how to forgive, then you're going to struggle in marriage. And so spiritual growth is really important. It's kind of the number one, that's the foundational piece. But you have those 4 other areas that couples really need to focus. That's a long, roundabout way of saying that couples really need to focus. They need to find a focus. And for us at Marriage Champs, we teach them to focus on those 5 things. And if you can focus on those 5 things, you don't have to worry about the enemy.
Mm.
If you focus on your teammate, and how you guys can get better, and how you can execute whatever plan you have. If the goal you have is to win, okay, what is it going to take for us to win? If you can focus on executing the things that you need to execute, okay, wives, you need to be respectful of your husband. Okay, how can I respect my husband today? If you focus on what you need to do in your position and your role and your task and whatever it is, you don't have to worry about the enemy.
Exactly. That's good.
So just do what you know to do for your team to win.
Right.
And to take care of itself.
I just love that. I love that terminology. Teammates, man. I love it. Okay, my next question for you would be, you kind of just tied into that. So the relationship goal, but what would you say your relationship goal is? I know that's cliche, especially now with the whole hashtags in that arena. But if you were to say a relationship goal for you is, and why would you say
that? My relationship goal really is to represent Christ's love for the church through my marriage.
That's good.
That is like my ultimate goal.
Right.
I want people to see how much God loves us by being a great wife as best as I can, and respecting my husband and loving him well. Like that is my goal.
Right.
That's my number 1 goal. Number 2 would probably be to make sure that we fulfill all that God would have us to fulfill. And so just building a legacy that we can be proud of, despite all of the challenges, all of the things that have happened, the good, the bad, all of it. At the end of the day, when the Lord calls us home, I want to be proud of what we built as a couple.
Absolutely.
I want to be proud of it. And I want any children that we might have or anything like that to be proud of it, to be proud of what we represent as a couple, as a unit.
Right. Because the witness is important. Like if people don't have examples, then they won't continue on this journey, because it gets hard. It gets rough. It gets tough. Speaking of which, what is one thing that almost made you quit, give up, throw in the towel? Rather that was your marriage, your ministry role, or yourself. What is the one thing that almost made you say, you know what, I can't do this no more. I am about to be done. This is it.
Yeah. Wow. I never really wanted to quit in my marriage. My husband has, but I hate losing. Like, I'm just like, no, this is going to work. I don't know how. I don't know how it's going to work, but this going to work. When I signed up for this, I said till the day. So I don't know what you're talking about, but this is going to work. So I never really wanted to quit in my marriage, but there have been times where I have been like, you know what, Lord, I'm just ready. If you're ready for me to come to glory, I'm ready today. Because if you today, I don't know if I'm going to be, I don't want to shame you, and I don't want to do any, just take me now, because it's too much going on. So, when things are falling apart all around you and you feel like You know, I felt like my marriage was kind of falling apart. My mom was sick. She was dying with cancer. My life, everything was just not going well. And, you know, 2014 was a very challenging year for me. So I remember saying, Lord, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready. Take me glory. Just ready. I've never really been suicidal, never really been homicidal or anything like that, but I have been ready to just say, you know what, I have done my best. I have done my best and I am exhausted emotionally.
Right.
And I'm just ready. And then I remember driving on the highway and then the sun came out. Like it was like the clouds parted. And I just felt like, yeah, I get that you're ready, but it's not time. You know, it's not time. There is more work to be done. There are more people to serve. And what happened is I got a phone call from a former client about their marriage that was like, you will not believe what happened, you know, and I got kind of a praise report. And so
Praise God.
sometimes it happens when I get really low, where I just want to quit serving. Like, this is not working. I'm trying, you know, I'm trying to help couples. I'm trying to serve. It's not getting better. People still, you know, I'm just over it. God will give me an indication that no, nope, nope. You gotta you gotta keep doing the work. And then I realized that the results are not up to me. They're not. My job is to simply just do what the Lord called me to do, and that's to encourage, to listen, to equip, to provide wise counsel, and the results are not mine. It's up to the Lord, and it's up to the couple to really do what it is that the Lord is asking them to do for the marriage, either to be restored or for them to continue to grow in a way that is meaningful to each of them, in a way that brings glory and honor to God. So there are times that I get tired because I feel like I'm not seeing the results, or I hear people say, you know, such and so is getting divorced, or if things are going on personally in my life, like my mom or like my husband being unhappy some years back. Those kind of things have made me really just feel like, this is just, what am I doing? You know? But then God always reminds me some kind of how, why this matters, and that it's bigger than me. You know, when I make it about myself, then I want to have these pity parties, but it's not about me, you know, and I'm not responsible for results. I'm not responsible for any of it. I just really am just a vehicle. And so I hope that answered.
That did. Thank you so much. So really quick before we end, how long has Marriage Champs been established?
So I officially launched Marriage Champs in January of 2015. So it's been 5 whole years.
5 whole years.
Where every day we are growing, and we're able to help more people, train people to work with couples, partner with churches, partner with other clinicians that are not necessarily in churches, but that have private practices in the world. There's so many people out there that are willing, that have a heart to help couples, and that are skilled to be able to help couples. And so one of the things that we're moving towards now is creating a platform that will eventually turn into like a mobile app, where couples can get the support and the help that they need, no matter where they are in their marriage. If you're doing really well in your marriage, awesome. We want you to continue to thrive. If you're just kind of like surviving, we want to help you turn it around so that you can continue to, you know, that you can thrive again. And if you're not doing well, if you're in a crisis, if things are not going well in your marriage, you can turn it around. It's never too late. It's never too late. And there are people that can help you. And we can connect you with those people. We can encourage. We want you to be, we are cheering couples on. Like we are just couples to win. And it just brings us the greatest joy when we see couples really achieving more together, and experiencing the kind of love and the kind of marriage that they desire.
Right. And that God intended. You know,
Absolutely.
he gifted us with this incredible blessing of marriage. And I know everyone, you know, won't get married or haven't gotten married, but for those that are, I think, you know, it's important that we treasure that gift, that covenant, because it's a blessing indeed, even in its ups and downs.
Yeah, even in the
It's a
difficult
blessing.
times, even in the difficult times, God is using those difficult times to strengthen you guys. And He's doing something great.
Right.
He is doing something great in the midst of a storm or whatever it is. He is absolutely up to something.
Absolutely.
So I just want to encourage couples to just hang in there, to trust the process. And if you need it, get help.
Good help. Well, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you for
I
having
yes,
me.
you are.
Very much so. And I am excited for all that you are doing with Beauty Locker. And I just thank you for the privilege and honor just to be a guest here. So thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.